Creek. I'm going to do a little video today. It is Friday, May 3rd, 2019. I want to do an update on this hive boost that I did exactly a week ago today. If you remember, I had this hive right here in that location, and this hive was on top, and I had to do a split out of the bigger hive to make some room for some new queens that I had. So I couldn't leave the second colony on top separated by a queen excluder on for as long a time as I wanted to. So what I ended up doing was I slid the main colony from its original location over here to this location over here, and then I put the weaker colony back there so that it would get all the foragers. And today what we're going to do is take a look at the weak colony to see how it's progressing, and also take a look at the stronger colony from which I took the split from, and they lost all their foragers. And if you can notice right now, what you're seeing is a bustle of activity over on the weak colony, because they have all the older bees which are foragers. And the strong colony, I have taken all their foragers, which left all the bees in here as nurse bees relegated to probably just warming all the capped brood, all the brood that's in the hive. I don't think they can move off as easily as they once could, because they did have a lot of brood in here. Because you can see there's, you know, one or two bees flying in every now and then here, where in this colony over here they're bringing in pollen absolutely left and right. So it's just amazing the transformation between the two. Now when this hive finally starts hatching out, when the brood starts hatching out and they get a new supply of nurse bees, I'm going to guess that the older bees that are in here will switch jobs, and then they will start bringing in more nectar and pollen. I gave them both a box. It's been cold for the last week. None of the bees have been able to go out and get pollen or food. So I gave them, though they all got a pollen patty, but I put a pail of syrup on both colonies so that they at least could get a little bit of nectar on their colonies. But today what we're going to do is we're going to go in and do a hive inspection on both, just to take a look and see how they're progressing. This one is really surprising that there is that lack of activity that's coming out of the colony. Like I said, one or two bees come in and out, but the majority are coming out of there. That really did boost that colony tremendously. And I just want to see if that queen is indeed laying any eggs, with more bees to help her out. So we'll take a quick look. Okay, let's take a look and see what we got here. A lot more bees than what we started with, that's for sure. Looks like I might have a, no, don't see any. Thought maybe I had a little leak on the pail feeder. Oh my goodness. Not much going on there at all. Well, let's see what we can find here. A lot more bees here. They're on the honey. Just eating honey, looks like. Nothing that I can see there. A lot more bees on here than ever there were before. Just nectar is all I see. And honey. Nothing on there for egg laying, which is a little disappointing. Okay. This should be a brood frame here. I'm hoping. Hope, hope, hope. All I can do is hope. Definitely a brood frame. Oh, I do see some eggs being laid there. Not many, but a few. See what we got going on this side. A lot more bees in this colony than were before. There are eggs being laid in there, but it's not an impressive pattern, to say the least. But I am very, very impressed with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames of bees now I've got in here instead of the frame and a half that I had before. Let's hope that there's more brood being laid in this than in any of the other ones. I haven't seen the queen yet. There she is. Hopefully you can see her right there in the center of the frame there. I'll try to point her out to you. But let's take a look at what she's been doing. She's been laying up a storm on this one. So that's really, really good to see. She's got this really laid up. It's got larvae, it's brood, and eggs. Good to see. So she's just concentrating her nest a little further over to the west. Now this was the strong colony. Lost all its foragers, and you can see that the bees aren't even using the syrup here. Well, okay, this is a 9-frame super, and it has frame spacers in it, so you really don't have to worry about rolling the queen by grabbing a center frame here. This is pretty well fully laid up. Looks like they've started hatching. Not backfilling anything in it. Some cap brood and larvae. She was up here recently laying, which I don't like to see. I was kind of hoping she'd go down a little bit. Since this is my breeder queen and I'm using a medium for my timing box, this is I'm just going to take this box and use it actually as my timing box, but not all the frames of brood are going with me. Another fully capped frame of brood. Some have hatched out, and she's deposited eggs back into them. The ones that have hatched out here, she's also obviously had been here, deposited eggs, and they have already formed into larvae. Funny thing, I got eggs down here, larvae at different stages in here, thicker, older. So she's still laying really, really well. She's only a year old. I think I got this queen in mid-May last year sometime. This is a Carniolan. Okay. Still pretty good population of bees in here. All nurse bees though, mostly nurse bees. Oh, they could benefit with some older bees for sure. Yeah, she's laid up what's hatched out here. I can see eggs in all these cells. I don't know when she was here, but she was here recently. There's literally nothing here. Boy, there ain't nothing there. Whew. Nothing, and when I say nothing, I mean nothing. Nothing on here. Not a thing. That's all capped up. There's my queen right there. I don't know if you can see her. She's right there. She's actually really right where I want her to be. Okay, I put this on just because it had honey in it, but I'm taking it off because there isn't a single bee in it. Okay. This is what happens when you give them a little bit too much space. You start getting this little chalk brood going on. Whoops. So now that we know that the queen was in the lower box, put the queen excluder down and let these bees hatch. She'll stop laying up here. She'll lay down in the box, and then it'll take a while, for at least 21 days, for this box to fully hatch out, and they'll just backfill it with nectar or something. But so that's that. So okay, as you can see, the boosting of that colony worked fantastically, actually. Plenty of bees over there now. On the flip side, now I took, for 2 splits that I did, I took 2 frames of brood and 2 frames of bees from this colony. Plus I gave that colony all its foragers. So this colony did take a big hit. And I probably should have recognized that right away and taken off that extra brood box right away. I just never got down into it, so I never knew if they were using it or not. I was hoping they did, but they hadn't. I see that she was starting to lay down here. So now I forced them to. Queen is down here. She's laying down here. The brood is up here. There's plenty of bees to cover the brood. I'm not really worried about that. You know, they'll start hatching out, and the population will rebound, I guess you could say, from it. But for now, obviously, there's very few foragers out for this colony to really get going. Swapping it out would have been the best bet, not taking the splits off of this, but you know, whatever. I really didn't have any choice. It was my most powerful colony, and it will rebound. I have no doubt from it. And I've got I have one of them bees that just does not know how to leave you alone. But so I just showed you what a success it is for boosting colonies by just moving a weak colony to a strong colony locations and swapping positions. Of course, this only works if you have a strong colony in close proximity to where you have your weak colony. If you have a nuke, a strong nuke and a weak nuke in different locations, that's not a big deal. Nukes are easy to pick up and move around and whatnot. Not as easy with full-size boxes. I don't like moving full-size boxes by myself. If I had somebody else here, wouldn't be near the trouble moving boxes from one location to the other. But you work with what you got. So till next time, happy beekeeping. Half hour after I took off a lower box, reduced the size of the colony space. The blue target colony is now out in full force, as is the yellow colony next to it. So I think they're a little happier with a little less space on them.